This next method for factoring is using a visual representation of something called an area model, and this is taking the pieces of a trinomial and putting them into an area model. So we know that x squared would have to go up here in the top left corner, and -6 has to be in the bottom right corner of this area model. Now somehow these other two pieces, the remaining areas, have to add up to an x value. So I know that I'll have an x and an x, and then I have to add something to the dimensions along the vertical side and along the horizontal side that will multiply to a -6 but add to 1. So if we look at 2 and 3, that would give us a +6. So we need to change one of the signs here. If I want the two terms on the side to add up to a +x, that means that the bigger area has to be 3x. So I need the left side to be +3 and the horizontal top part to be a -2. So I've now found the binomials that I need for this factorization. Let's look at the next one. We have an x squared and a 12, and we need the two remaining areas to be a -7. I'll go ahead and fill in the x and x. We need a positive final output, so we know that the numbers that we're going to have as our second terms inside the binomials have to both be negative for the final answer to be positive. So the two numbers that I always think of when I think of products that will give me 12 is 3 and 4. So let's just check those first. 3 times 4 will give me 12. If I put 4x on the left, bottom left, and 3x on the top right, those will both be negatives, and that will indeed add up to a -7x. So we could have an x minus 3 times an x minus 4 as our binomial factors. This next one is x squared plus 10x minus 11. So we have an x squared and we have a -11. We need an x and an x to give us an x squared. We need a large positive number, so let's go with 11. And we need a much smaller negative number, so let's go with -1. This will give me 11x in the top quadrant and -1x in the bottom left section of the area. And so altogether, if we add -1x and plus 11x, we're going to get positive 10x. So we'll have the binomial factors x plus 11 and x minus 1. It's kind of hard to write sideways, so let's just draw it like that, x minus 1. Let's take a look at the last example here. We have an x squared minus 2x minus 24. I fill in my first term and my last term. X squared is going to give me an x and x. And then I need my product to be a -24, and the sum of the two leftover areas need to add up to a -2x. So I think of 24 and I think of 2 times 12, 3 times 8, and 4 times 6. So 4 times 6 would give me 24, and the difference between them is 2. So that's a good sign, and I need the number to be negative in the middle. So if I make 4 positive and 6 negative, that would give me a negative 6x and a positive 4x, and that would now give me a total product like what I was given as my polynomial. So x plus 4 and x minus 6 are my factors.